Hey, I have awesome round ligament pain at the moment because I'm pregnant, so that's why we're on a bouncy ball today. So bear with me here while I bounce around on screen. But I asked Instagram what you want to hear about in the topic of HA, which is what I talk about. And this one came up, right? It comes up a lot. But how do I work exercise back in after recovery? Which I am psyched about because that appears to be the theme of the month, and I've talked about it in the community calls inside of the HA Society. We've been chatting about it. I have a post coming out about it. It's just the theme of the month. So let's keep rolling with it. First, let's talk about what it means to be recovered. To be recovered doesn't just mean you get 3 periods, right? We say that a lot. We hear it a lot in the space. You know, I want to get my 3 recovery periods. Huge milestone, but a healthy cycle is what it actually means to be recovered. So a long enough luteal phase, a clear ovulation, you definitely ovulated, you're pretty damn certain. A long enough luteal phase, your luteal phase is long enough to hold a pregnancy, to allow you to get pregnant, regardless of that being your goal. It's really important. And you're having a solid bleed. If you want to know what the phases of the cycle actually look like and learn more about how understanding that is super important for knowing when you've actually recovered, let me know and I will absolutely make a video about that. I'd love to make a video about that. So, okay, you have a healthy cycle, you're ready to go, you're ready to exercise. That is great. But the important thing is that you are ready to exercise slowly. It's important to remember that your body is still healing and it will be sensitive to any additional stress that you put on it. No matter how much you mentally enjoy exercise, the fact that you're doing it is a stressor. It's physical stress. Your body's going to have a reaction to it. If you're tracking your cycles, you can see this happening live, right? But if you're not, it's a bit harder to tell. I promise you, it's having an effect. Most post-HAers notice that they can lose their cycle really easily if they're not careful how they reintroduce exercise. Now, this is relevant to you if you are still working towards the stage of recovery and you just want to know when the time comes, how do I do this properly? And of course, you're recovered. You want to get this moving, okay? So it's for everyone. It's also worth mentioning that you may not have the same love or passion or intensity for your exercise as you once did. Don't worry about it. That's fine. It might either come back or you never will, but you'll still always want to get some movement in. So whatever you feel like doing, totally okay. And if you do have that intensity and that passion, you're like, I'm going to get back into competition, I'm going to start winning stuff. Awesome. Just don't push yourself too hard. We are going to talk about today how to reintroduce exercise back in a way that is both safe for your cycle and actually going to get you the gains that you need to be back at a fitness level, at a competitive fitness level, whatever you want. We're going to not move you backwards. We're doing it not too fast. We're going to reintroduce exercise in the right way. We're gonna work with your body, not against it. This is your life and you need to do what's right for you. So note that this is like a general recommendation, and of course if you could work with a sports physiologist, with an actual coach that knows what they're doing, that can create a plan specific for you, that's going to be ideal. The first step is to choose one type of exercise that you want to do. Have a control exercise modality. So if you in the past used to like cross train and do running and CrossFit and swimming, you need to choose one. Having one allows you to clearly assess how your body is actually reacting to the exercise. If you mix too many variables in and something changes with your cycle, you have to take further steps back to get back to where you're having a healthy cycle again. If you change one variable and something happens with your cycle, we know that just that one variable needs to be adjusted. And of course, just the fact that bringing in multiple types of exercise at once is going from 0 to 100 is just a bad idea. Your cycle is probably going to go poof. Because remember that your body is also sort of suspicious of you at the moment. It's suspicious. It's like, I'm a cycle for you, but I'm watching. I will cycle, and I'm watching what you're doing. And if you mess this up, I'm leaving. The next one is to warm up and cool down. One of the girls inside of the HA Society actually brought this tip up during a community call where we were talking about this subject exactly. And I was like, I'm always going to include this. It's great. Warming up and cooling down. You need to not skip this, not because it avoids injury, which of course is awesome and it totally does, but it allows your body to properly wake up and prepare for the fact that you're about to do exercise or to train again. It's like you're not going from sedentary to active. There's this in between, you're getting into it, your body is waking up, and it's more calmly entering into this space of exercise. Exact same with cooling down. You want to tell your body, we're done, have fun with that, let's chill out. It's really a bit of a mental thing. It's for your nervous system, and all of those things are sending messages around your brain saying, or around your brain and your body saying, we're safe, this is all good. Eating is the next one. You have to be eating at the beginning of the day. You need to be having like 2 meals in that day. Ideally, you're eating 2 meals, breakfast, lunch, then you work out. Lunch, dinner, then you work out. You just need to not be in a calorie deficit when you train at this time. If you can only if you need to train in the morning, just have a huge ass breakfast and a snack, and try and have a great dinner the night before. If you plan to go back to like the 5 to 6 a.m. training session, I don't recommend it. We just don't recommend it. Like, that's gonna be across the board. No one's gonna recommend that for you right now. While you're dealing with hormonal health issues, early exercise, fasted, straight out of bed into movement, it's not good for cortisol, it's not good for the nervous system, it's not conducive to healthy cycles at this time, maybe ever. If you are gonna do that, do your best to be as fueled as possible. The next one is to slowly work up training volume or work up intensity, not both at the same time. Volume is how much you're training, like that frequency, the distance you're going. That's the volume of your training. The intensity is how hard you're training. What's the load? What's the incline? So for example, if you're a runner, you want to work more and more running into your regime, you're either going to run a further distance on the same flat track or add an extra day of running in on the same flat track. But if you want to work more intensity in, maybe you're going to have the same distance you've been running from the beginning of working exercise back in, so like 1-2 days, but at an incline, at a slight incline. You only want to change one variable at a time because it's a stress to the body, and you want to be able to track what the difference is. And remember, we're going to get to this, we're going to get to it. Food and sleep. Gotta eat more, gotta sleep more. So the food, eating more, goes a little bit with having breakfast and lunch, like having 2 meals, gets you out of that calorie deficit. But if you got your period back on like X calories and resting X amount, and then you start training, you gotta eat more, you gotta rest more, right? Especially post-HA, you know, you've gotta tell your body, food is in abundance, rest is in abundance, we are safe. And it's super important that you're doing that. I think it's really easy for us to re-enter exercise after HA, like with a bit of, maybe I'll lose some weight, like a weight loss goal. I get it. I think a lot of women are gonna have that. It's subconscious, it's hoping. We're uncomfortable in our body at the moment a little. We wanna make some changes and hope we get to hold on to our period. It's kind of just the way society's conditioned you to be, so don't feel bad about it, but just remember, like, notice when you're feeling that way and when you're making a decision to maybe like not eat more or something after you train. You gotta eat. You gotta eat. We don't have time for weight loss at the moment. That said, is it possible for you to eat more, rest more, and start training and see changes in your body composition? 100%. 100%. Which is what brings us to this point, and the point that I was about to make earlier and said, hang on, we're getting there. When training, you want to make the most progress, the least amount of effort. This is old as time training and athletics or wisdom, okay? If you are having to grind yourself harder into the ground because you're not seeing progress, there's something else wrong. You want to make the most progress you can with the littlest amount of effort. So if you can see an improvement with running 1 day a week, which you will at this stage, if you've had significant time off running, do that till you stop seeing progress, and then add the tiniest bit in, another half of a run, lengthen that first run, add one more in. Just like these tiny steps. Don't be like, okay, you know what, if I start training 5 days a week, I'll definitely make progress. No, it actually doesn't work that way. It actually doesn't work that way. The body wants to be on a team with you. It wants you to work together, make small changes, and it will meet you halfway. So that's kind of it. Those are my recommendations for working exercise back in. If you have any more questions on it, please let me know. Love answering them. And now we're gonna do a bit of a bonus question. I ask for these on my Instagram, so if you ever want to ask a question, get it answered, head over there or put it in the show notes of this video and I will do my absolute best to answer it for you. The question is, dealing with the recovery weight gain while ignoring society's pressure. Yeah, I feel you. It's really hard and every single person deals with this a bit, right? Some quick questions I have for you are, what are the exact thoughts that you think people are having about you? The judgments, the pressure, what is it? If they are having those thoughts, if someone's actually thinking those things or putting that pressure on you, who cares? So what? What does it mean next, right? What does it mean? Just lay it out there, like the facts on the table. How much of this fear of what other people think come from the fact that you have thoughts about other people like this too, right? So you're worried someone thinks that you're lazy or letting yourself go. How often do you think that about other people? And is it possible that working through your judgments of others could help you work through your judgments or your fear of judgment from others? Well, the thing is, we'll never fully rid ourselves of this pressure that society puts on us, but we can improve how we deal with it. These thoughts, this pressure is so deeply ingrained in us. But I promise you that with exposure and effort and really reflecting on like where all of this fear comes from and just being okay in the suck, it gets easier. It gets so much easier. I could tell you, like, I used to have breakdowns about my body image multiple times a week. It was bad. It was so bad. But I just don't have those anymore. And I can just tell you it comes to exposure, constantly talking to women in the community about this, feeling not alone, and just, spending time in the change. It's just change. When you move somewhere, it's hard. When you change workplaces, it's hard. Like, this is just one of those things. And if you're feeling that and if you're experiencing the discomfort and the pressure and you're doing the right thing, you're in the right place, because you should be feeling that way. That's how you know you're putting in the work. If you're not feeling the pressure yet, if you still feel fully like the same as you did before, I would question if you're actually doing the work you need to do to get your period back right now. And don't underestimate community, man. Like, that's why I started the HA Society. I recommend that you join. The girls in there, including myself, will help you work through this kind of a thing. Like, you can't do this by yourself particularly easily. Trust me, I would love to do everything by myself. That's like my personal statement. I can do this, I don't need no one. But you really do. And the last thing would be, it's really helpful to find a comfortable way to share what's happening for you with the people whose opinions you fear, right? So if you're worried about what your family thinks or what your group of friends think or what the people at the gym think, like, how can you share what's going on, right? Because I think a huge part of this is fear that these people think that we've become lazy. These people think that we don't know that we've gained weight. We sort of just want them to know that this is intentional. Like, I'm doing this on purpose. It has a reason. I'm trying to get my period back. I have a hormonal issue. I'm really stressed out and I'm under eating. Finding a way to share that is really helpful. It kind of takes some of the pressure off you because now they know why it's happening. They can be sensitive to it. And if you can share with just enough people that it impacts one person, like one person says, oh, hey, me too. Like, I didn't realize this was a thing. I think I'm struggling with this too. and you help open their eyes and you help them make change, that's just like the catalyst for giving 0 Fs about society's pressure. You're just like, I just helped someone change their life. I know it sounds like a weird answer, but it's so true. You know, the opposite of depression is purpose, and helping others and just seeing the impact that you can have is really gonna take this away from being just about you and being a lot like seeing the bigger picture here. So don't forget to subscribe to this channel, guys. That way I know that you like this and I can make more videos for you. If you have a topic that you would like covered, put it in the comments below or find me on Instagram and let me know that you want to go over it. And I will link to the HA Society, the HA podcast that I have where I talk about these topics all the time. I'll link to all of that below, and please enjoy, and I'll see you guys later.